a massage facility owner, I want you to understand this. Right now in my industry, a massage facility owner can look at what I'm doing and go, no, there's no way. We're not even going to allow what you're teaching at our facility. And I go, why? They're like, it's not massage. This isn't what we do here. They don't say it's not effective. They don't say it's not good for the students' bodies, the therapist bodies. They're just like, this service is not massage. And I'm like, great, then we don't need licenses in 50 states. And they're like, oh, wait, what? And I go, dude, I don't understand how I could create a service that there's not a market for.
Right.
Like, how does your industry not recognize it as being for them? It would be like, not that I have as much background in this as you do. So it's like, has breakdancing and hip hop influenced gymnastics?
Yes.
Exactly. But did I see that even as in a high schooler? It was like, yeah, but it was just starting. It was like that process of hip hop, like pervading the larger culture and how people use their bodies. The thing is, they're trying to, I don't know, it's kind of like saying, okay, this is salsa dance and this is tango, and then, you know, this is country line dancing, and never shall they meet. It's like people who are in dance are like, no, they study all kinds of dance. They're studying ballet and other disciplines, and they're merging things. But for some reason in the massage industry, they're very like regimented, like these are separate things.
That's, and not to speak poorly about those that think that way, but they themselves sort of forget or don't know that where they are is an evolution. It's the next iteration. There are iterations of all of this. There was, I don't know massage from its origins, but I'm sure it's changed hundreds of times. New things pop up. Some things are deleted. Things change, evolve. And so here's this iteration of it in the standard industry, and then you're evolving it, and it's just no.
Yeah,
guess what? It's gonna evolve. Their own industry is going to evolve before their eyes, but they're going to accept that for some reason, perhaps. I don't know.
So there's a certain level of social norm that the new thing becomes accepted, and then it's okay. But I don't know what the process is of having that social acceptance. Like, I get a sense, like, we have discussions internally. So the work I'm teaching is weird, and I'm also delivering information via video, you know, online in a massive scale that's kind of new. I don't hear I can't learn online from young massage therapists. I hear it from older therapists who grew up in an era that didn't have the same technology we have now. When I was setting everything up and figuring out the 4 cameras, the first time I really did it, I was like, it's fucking over. Like, this will transform the entire fucking industry. Like, this is, because I can see it. I'm not thinking in terms of Austin, Texas. Right. I'm like, no, people are buying shit from Slovenia. And I'm like, where's Slovenia again? I have to go Google it in Eastern Europe. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm not replacing in-person classes. I'm just trying to give students a supplement to be able to change the social norm and say, listen, instead of working on a table, why don't we work on a mat? That is such a fundamental shift to how people think about what I am doing, that they don't even recognize it as part of their industry.
Yeah.
In the end, it was a great service, but I continue to be a bit of a rogue where it's like, but we don't like the way he talks. We don't like the thing he says. Like, in other words, I feel like fundamentally, former philosophy student, long after high school, I was a philosophy student, thought a lot of deep thoughts, a lot of independent thinking, a lot of thought experiments. Can we make the service better? And right now, there's not a lot of social proof, because it's just me and a couple students. Even the students I'm working with in person here in Austin, I work with them regularly, and here's what the conversations go like. I'm like, Kristen is getting ready to teach a class on a table, and she's like, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, what's ridiculous? And she's like, this is too much work. And I'm like, so you working on a table now, it's too much work. It's too hard. It's too hard on your body. It's too much physical labor. There's no reason to do this because you like the mat work now. When's the last time you worked on a table, Kristen? And she's like, it was well over a year ago. And I was like, Kristen, have I ever failed you? have I ever led you astray? And she's like, no. And I'm like, so why don't you just listen to me? But that expanse is so big, it's a little bit like you coaching me in gymnastics, and I had a problem with the back handsprings. I have an issue, a fear response to like going backwards. So you have to condition the person to get past that. But when they have that fear response, it's like you're afraid of stepping into something new.
Yeah.
You break it down into pieces to make it safe, acceptable, comfortable. There are a lot of massage therapists who won't do what I teach because they're like, I don't know. Like, how do I get my clients on the mat? And I have to teach them how to transition clients. I have to teach them how to communicate with clients, not just body work, not just technique. There's a sales component because you're selling a different service. When Kristen gives me feedback like that, it's amazing to me because it's proof of concept over what I've been doing, but currently it's just me and like a couple students. There's not a mass movement of what I'm teaching yet.
Yeah, I think the beginnings are always small. They're always difficult, especially when you see the vision, you see the future of it. Again, that's just part of it. Part of it is that struggle. And you continue to try to find ways to make it happen, make enough money to push the program farther. The social part of it, gathering individuals who see your vision, willing to promote it. It's a slow process, especially when it's small time. I'm a small business. That is difficult. I mean, I've wrestled with the same thing. I have students, parents that have been gymnasts. They were gymnasts themselves. They were cheerleaders. And occasionally they're here in my facility and they'll want to argue about my techniques or discuss my techniques. And then I pull out my whiteboard, I have my TV, I have slow motion replay, and I'll show them the physics of it and the anatomy of the body. And even I tell them, I even tell them, like, I was taught your way as well. I remember I was there, but I focused. I got a lot smarter, started studying physics, anatomy with respect to, tumbling and gymnastics in general. And I discovered that there were more efficient, safer ways to do these skills, and I implemented them. And I haven't seen this much success. I've stopped injuries. I mean, or wrist injuries in the sport, or just out of the yin yang. Well, I don't have wrist injuries here because I've changed the angles and positions of certain skills. My parents just can't believe it. And the doctors can't believe it. I have doctors who went to certain clubs here in the city, orthopedics, okay, have their children at gyms, and they hear about me, they come over here, yeah, she's having these injuries, we're trying to strengthen her, I was like, oh, well, they're simply doing it wrong. I mean, I don't like to say that. It's like, well, the angle they're at is not the right angle to keep them safe. And they're like, what? That's all it took? So all this money going to the doctor, and I'm an orthopedic surgeon, This is all that coach needed to do was just change the angle of the arm. It's like, yeah, easy peasy. Why didn't they know that? It's like, well, I asked the same question. Why don't they know that? Yeah. It's because in my industry, there is no, I mean, I don't know about massage exactly, but with respect to gymnastics, there is no degree in gymnastics. There's no degree in tumbling. Yeah. You go out to some other countries, they do have degrees in things like that. But here, I'm autodidactic, respectfully. I mean, there's physics and anatomy, but otherwise, I put in the hours on learning about the human body, the anatomy, structure, levers, forces, momentums, and I applied it. But it shakes people up when I start talking like that, especially other gym coaches or gym owners or prospective ex-gymnasts or cheerleaders. Just blows their mind. But yeah, I've been for so long, I just handle it as it comes, and yeah, I just keep following mine.
I was in in gymnastics in high school. We would talk about getting forearm splints and pommel horse. Holy moly, dude! It's like pommel horse. Every time I see somebody on pommel horse, I'm like, I tried to do that. That shit is hard. Yeah, you got to be strong, man. And it's like, I have very small, delicate wrists, and I go to massage school, and they're trying to get me to use this to like put, pressure on stuff. So I'm working on somebody your size, which is probably about my size as well. And then I'm using this. Then I started training in Thai massage, and it was like, wow, I can use my legs and feet. Because the legs and feet are just, they're not, it's like, it doesn't matter how much you train your upper body, it's not going to be as strong as you can kick. It's a different part of the body. But that's beginning that flip where it's like, wait, we're massage therapists. We don't use our legs and feet. And I'm like, why? And they're like, well, but we were taught in school. Like, in other words, well, this is the way we've always done it. And I go, yeah, I understand that, but could we change it to make it more effective for the therapist and better for the
Right.
clients?